Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. Learn more at onfireathletes.com. Go this way. You'll come say hi?
Yeah.
Okay. Come say hi. Come see. We came over here? Okay. What do we say? What do we say?
Hi, Dad. Joe.
Oh, that was really sweet. Did you sleep so good last night?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Well, what are you going to do today? What do you want to do today? What day is today?
Monday.
Good job. What day's tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Who plays football on Tuesday?
Tiger.
Yeah, what do we say? What do we say when LSU's playing?
Go Tiger.
Good job. Who says that?
Coach.
Coach who?
Ed Ozra.
Coach Sharon. He watches Coach O videos on YouTube. Hey, how does Coach O, what does Coach O say? What does Coach O say? What else?
Monday.
Down through Monday.
Go this way.
Go this way. He does say down through Monday.
Go this way.
Go this way. He watches videos. It's hilarious. I guess he just likes the voice or whatever. Like, he doesn't really understand, anything about that. He just he'll watch old Coach O press conference videos. That's funny. Anyway, all right. We're gonna say some good mornings here. That's actually good. Bring a little levity to the day. The Saints stink. They lose to the woeful, lowly Las Vegas Raiders, 25-10 in a game that in the second half was not even close. Spencer Rattler was good in the first half. Good. I didn't say it was great. Didn't say it was an all-pro. I said he was good in the first half. His receivers pretty continuously throughout that game. I'd say receivers, I mean pass catchers, let him down. Go this way. Go this way. Kevin Austin, Juwan Johnson dropped, struggled to make catches through contact. Clyde had one, as a matter of fact, too. It was a short pass where Rattler put it on him kind of as he's turning. The defender got his hand in there and knocked the ball away. It's a great play by the defender, but man, when you got a young quarterback and you're fighting it, man, you gotta make plays. I mean, I'm watching the Packers and the Vikings yesterday, and there's a play late in the game as the Vikings are driving to win it, and I guess not driving to win it, to seal it. After the Packers scored, the Vikings needed to run off the clock. And Darnold throws the ball over the middle to Jefferson, who extends, taps the ball back to himself, contact, makes the catch. I'm like, it's a 20-yard completion. That goes in the stat sheet as a reception, a 20-yard completion. That was all Jefferson. Now, I get it. He's arguably the best receiver in the NFL, but sometimes you got to pick up your quarterback too. Most disappointing yesterday was the defense. I didn't expect the offense to be good without all the players they're missing. But I think the real lesson we're learning this year is your defense is all of the aging guys. It's time. Cam, DeMario, Tyron, all these old defenders. They're done. It's just time. Amir Abdullah had the first 100-yard game of his career yesterday. I mean, there was a time where nobody ran the ball against the Saints. That's the real disappointment. You let Aiden O'Connell cook, and Amir Abdullah ran for 100 yards for the first time in his career. The guy's been in the league a decade. Anyway, so Saints lose, and they'll lose Sunday to Tampa because Tampa's playing for the division. So checking the updated draft order. Yeah, Saints are still 10. That's kind of what I told you yesterday, man. There's no winning or losing doesn't help you. As much as that stinks, you're locked in at 10. I guess I'm trying to think. If you lose and go 5-12, just if the Raiders win, you jump the Raiders because they beat you. And they play the Chargers. They ain't gonna beat the Chargers. I mean, you're locked in. You're locked in at the 10th pick. So go this way. So anyway, all right, let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. I do have an interview at 10 a.m., so we'll do about 20 minutes here. We'll get rolling a bit. David Joby was on fire last night. Do you mean Jaden Daniels? Tigers covered the spread easily last night, and at this time 2 years ago, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield were on the same team. There was a picture floating around Twitter yesterday. I guess you mean Jaden was on fire last night. Burrow played Saturday. The basketball Tigers blew out. They were a 38-point favorite. They blew out Mississippi Valley, who's just a dreadful. They're literally the lowest net rating team. They're 364 out of 364. LSU was up 55-13 at half. What a joke. But yeah, there's this picture floating around the internet of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in their Carolina uniforms from a couple of years ago. I mean, you think about that 3 seasons ago. I guess, well, if you count this year, 2022, Darnold and Mayfield were both in Carolina. And now they're both starting quarterbacks on playoff teams. Oh, Panthers. Silo, Jerry, Brian, good morning. Saints need to fire Loomis. I agree. I've been saying that for a long time, though. Brian Wynn, good morning. Official Friday, will you be back on AFR today? No, I'll be back on Thursday. So Musa will host today, and then we're off Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday will be like all day Eagle game day, so pregame and then the game itself. And then Thursday we're off for New Year's Day, and then Wednesday off for New Year's Day, then Thursday back. So I'll be back on Thursday. Let's see. Sorry, did that one. Thomas, good morning. Day 20 is upon us. We'll get it, Thomas. I promise. Thomas, I promise. Jerry, Charlie, not sure why, but the game was exhausting. The Saints game? Hey, Kelly, good morning. Charles, good morning. Although things aren't going our way, we still riding for the Saints. We'll get back there. Going to take some time. You know, Charles, I'm still going to ride with Saints always. Who dat for life. But listen, the Saints made 2 moves this year in season, which tells me that they understand it's time for the teardown rebuild. Number one is they fired Dennis Allen midseason, which they hadn't fired a coach during the season since, I guess even didn't really fire. I think Jim Mora resigned in 1996. So, but you're talking 30 years since they've done that. As dreadful as the Ditka era was, they didn't fire Mike Ditka midseason. Go this way. There he goes. So they fired Dennis Allen midseason and they traded Lattimore, which they're never trading guys at the deadline. They're usually acquiring guys at the deadline. So it goes to show you that they had punted on the season. They're moving on. And I hope that in this offseason they do the same. You need to purge the aging veterans. You need to bring in young, inexpensive talent. Understand next year is going to be miserable, and it is. But it's the price that you got to pay for all of the financial decisions you've made over the last half decade that have put you in this spot. I mean, how difficult watching Caden Ellis play so well in Atlanta and Zach Bond play so well in Philly and Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati. I mean, you watch all these guys that the Saints drafted. You had all these guys, but you mismanaged your roster so poorly that you're stuck with what you're stuck with. Hey, Jason. Oh, thank y'all very much. All the kind Drew comments. Appreciate y'all very much. The future QB. Hey, Brian. Good morning. Tiger Diver was able to go to my first big bourbon drop. Over 1,000 people in line. I was able to snag a Blanton's Gold and a Michter's 10 Rye. Very good. Those are two really, really good allocated bottles. I got a Michter's 10 Rye up there. That's actually this one right here. If you see, it's in the corner. It's blocked a little by the curtain, but it's that one. Leon, as a Saints fan, I can't get mad with losing like we are because on offense we are a UFL team. That's true. I think Rattler is a player, and I wouldn't touch a QB until Arch Manning comes out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how committed they are to Rattler. I don't know that you can be committed to Rattler after 5 starts, whatever it is. Do you see something there that you think can grow and develop? I mean, it is unfair to judge him wholly when you're down a couple of offensive linemen, your top 2 receivers, your best running back, Taysom Hill. I mean, yes, of course, it's unfair. You're not getting an accurate read on him with this time right now. Raiders beat the Saints on 12 hours rest due to engine trouble with their plane. Yes, they did. They didn't just beat the Saints. They beat down the Saints. 25-10. The second half was not even competitive. Brian. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Jason, confused. Are good fans supposed to look past the results too? You know what? I said it when Loomis said those words. I said, they're going to put that on his tombstone. And I didn't mean in a literal sense, like when he dies, they're going to put that on his tombstone. I mean, career-wise, that's going on his tombstone. Like you can't. It was so smug and so condescending. What he said and the way he said it, effectively like, I know everything and you don't know anything, so shut up. And I mean, showing up at a press conference, chomping on his gum, rattling off all these Hall of Fame coaches, trying to say you just got to give him time, when it was so very clear Dennis Allen was a joke. Anyway. Hey, Christian, good morning, man. Jerry, I'm happy with it. Why? Like, again, it's not helping you it's not helping your draft position at all. Losing isn't helping your draft position. Kick rocks. Thomas, Saints picking top 10. What, in your opinion, is the biggest need? Everything. And that's not a cop-out, Thomas. Like, there is no answer to that question. Your offensive line is terrible. You have an aging running back in Kamara and a young running back who can't stay healthy in Kendre Miller. You don't have a legit number 1 wide receiver, and Chris Olave is not a legit number 1 wide receiver. He's a starting NFL receiver. He is not a number 1. Think of Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Look at true number 1 receivers in the NFL. That's not Chris Olave. So what tight you need? I mean, we all love Foster Moreau, love what he said after the game yesterday. But how do you look at guys like Brock Bowers and then Foster Moreau and not realize there's a giant gap there? Your defensive line is atrocious. You're one of the worst teams at rushing the passer. They get 33, 34 sacks on the season, something like that. Your interior defensive line, you just allowed 100 yards rushing to Amir Abdullah. Demario Davis is old, even though I love him. I think Pete Werner is a serviceable starting caliber player in the NFL. I don't think he's ever going to be an all-pro. At cornerback, how do we really feel about Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor? Are you going to pay Paulson Adebo? You're old at safety with Tyron. And then who is your other safety? I mean, Jordan Howden made an appearance yesterday, got a penalty, and was promptly out of the game again. I mean, you need help everywhere. Like literally every position on the field, you could stand to upgrade. Danny, hope yesterday's game woke up the reality of the situation. Oh, Gail. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she understands. That's why they fired Dennis Allen, and while they traded Lattimore. I don't know what she could do. I mean, she needs to fire Mickey Loomis, but I've said that for months now. I mean, I went on a viral rant about Mickey Loomis, so nobody can accuse me of being late to the party on the Loomis thing. Anyway. Derek, yes, he does. Trivia, good morning. Adam, good morning. Brian, good morning. DJ, got to get in the weight room. Boy looks skinny, 6'4", 185. Yeah, so DJ Pickett, practicing. So 3 freshmen. DJ Pickett, Harlan Berry, Damian Shanklin, 3 freshmen practicing with the Tigers right now, which is a great experience for them. I mean, you think about it, by the time next season rolls around and they're playing Clemson, those dudes will have been on campus already for 9 months. They will have gone through, a dozen bowl practices. They would have gone through the 15 spring practices and spring game. They would have gone through June workouts. They would have gone through fall camp, and then they would have gone through, game week prep. I mean, like by the time the Clemson game rolls around, they're not going to feel like freshmen. They're going to feel like redshirt freshmen almost. They've been around for years, haven't played. Rex, good morning. Trivia, after I saw that first drive, I decided to go golfing and save myself the heartache. I mean, look, the first drive of the game, it looks like you have a 3-and-out. Brian Brzee comes up with a sack on 3rd down. Looks like you have a 3-and-out, but Carl Granderson jumped off sides. And so they get a first down, then they end up going on a 17-play drive. Now, you hold them to a field goal because Cam Jordan came up with a big play at the goal line. But that 17-play drive, I mean, Matthew Hayball has this great punt. JT Gray makes a beautiful play at the goal line. You down at the 5-yard line. And then they go on a 95-yard touchdown drive. What a joke. Patrick, I'm Mulligan. One more day till the Texas Bowl boot up. Also, great win for basketball. Go 11-2. 3-2 in Power 4 games, about what I expected. Remember, in basketball, though, it is the Power 5 in basketball. But yes, to your point. Yeah, man. Mississippi Valley was terrible. You get to 11 wins. I think I counted yesterday 12 of your conference opponents are games are against ranked teams. So it's going to be a real challenge, man. Tank for Arch next year. Here's the thing about Arch. Number one, are we sure Arch is great? I don't know. He's basically just been a backup during his time at Texas for 2 years. Number two, would you want him if he's only a 1-year starter? Number three, does he come out after 1 year of starting at Texas, provided he starts next year? What if Quinn Ewers goes back? What do they do? I don't know. I mean, this isn't just LSU homer guy. Like, what about Nussmeier? I mean, you're seeing the benefit of older Jaden Daniels. Look at older quarterbacks that have played, multiple seasons starting in college, as opposed to guys that were 1-year starters and trying to turn that around. Penix looks good because he has first round starters. If he had that bunch of skill players Rattler played with, we'd say bust. Let's get Young healthy. We'd be good again. Leon, obviously the talent around you matters. But for a guy making his second ever start, I mean, the poise and the accuracy and the decision making and protecting the football and all that sort of stuff, especially late in the game to go in the drill, like that's undeniable. So come on. Who what position do you think the Saints go for in the draft? Yeah, just talked about that. And like it's one of those years, Dan. If people say best available, it's really one of those years where legitimately you look at your board and whenever you're picking, you go, okay, who is the best player that's available right now? And you take that person, regardless of position. Because you're not one player away. Lance, good morning. Maybe we can spoil the Bucs season Sunday. Bucs are playing for you're on the road. The Bucs are playing for the division. You're going to be shorthanded again. That's not going to go well. Did you see what Tampa just did to Carolina yesterday? Hey, Abner, good morning. Good is sweet. Falcons losing is the best thing to me. Hey, Dawson, good morning.
Good.
Razor, since Loomis is going to hire somebody who knows, do you think he'll at least kick the tires on Dan Campbell? Well, no, because Dan Campbell is the coach of the Lions. Good is sweet. Like, there's no such thing in the NFL as a sitting NFL head coach leaving the team he's with for another NFL head coaching job. Now, there are caveats, like when there's an unhealthy situation, John Gruden in Oakland, they traded him to Tampa. There was the weird Belichick Parcells triangle with the Giants and the Jets and the Patriots back in the day. But anyway, but the point is, like, you don't leave a sitting NFL head coach isn't leaving his job for another NFL job. That just doesn't happen. So no, you're not getting Dan Campbell. And why would Dan Campbell leave one of the best teams in the NFC for the worst team in the NFL, or one of the worst teams? Robert Potts, good morning. Likelihood Burrow wins MVP. Yeah, not good. I mean, I think he is having the best season, but we all know that's not what they vote for with MVP. It's kind of like best player, best team, quarterback, best team type thing. If the Bengals had 2 more wins, then maybe we're having this conversation. But realistically, it's Josh Allen and Saquon. I mean, just realistically. Brad, good morning. How did the Saints team look so good after 2-0 start? It was such false hope. Well, I think a big part of that, Brad, is look who you played. You played Carolina and Dallas, who are 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. Carolina is 4-12. Dallas is 7-9, but really hit the skids. So you're playing 2 awful teams in those 2 games, and you are healthy, which is a big part of it. And you are putting out new tape, a new film of your offense, right? And then other teams could see it and adjust and adapt. So, all right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to all of our great sponsors: Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parrish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Locations all over Greater Baton Rouge. Parrish, we had that awful rain 2 days ago, Saturday night, Home Depot. So if you had any issue with your roof or think you might, we'd love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Beautiful day. Our crews are out and about, so give us a shout, parrishbuilt.com. Unique Physique, Restored Motions. Unique Physique, the weight loss shots, the once-a-week injections for weight loss, semaglutide, tirzepatide. If you want to learn more, you can. Remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. You can do the whole thing over telemed. They can ship your medicine anywhere. So there's no reason not to do that. If you're looking after the holidays at New Year's resolution, you want to lose a few lbs, it's a great way to get started. If you want to learn more, uniquephysique.com. All right, I got a interview coming up here in 5 minutes. When my phone rings, we're going to shut this down. Hey, Brent, good morning. Believe the Saints situation has not been this bad since Ditka was fired. But yeah, look, the 05, it was that bad in 05. I mean, and that's part of it, of course, is the Katrina caveat. But yes, there's the asterisk. But that situation was the worst situation in NFL history because there was literally the team didn't know if they had a home to go home to, a city to go home to. Hey, Jacob, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Franco Nation, good morning. Saints have potential, just need a lot of help. Can't wait for tomorrow. Go Tigers. Hopefully we win. Hopefully so. Should the Saints keep Rizzi while they correct the cap and let him bridge for the next? Listen, maybe. I would rather a full-on restart and reboot where someone is coming in and knowing they have a degree of job security because they're taking over a rebuild. Kind of like what Zach Taylor inherited in Cincinnati. He inherited a poo-poo in Cincinnati. But they had the first pick. They drafted Burrow. They've grown and built. Now we could argue, should they have done more by now? Should they have won a Super Bowl? Don't know. But like that's debatable. But that's the type of situation that I think you have to consider. Same with Dan Campbell when he went to Detroit. You know you're taking over a bad situation, and it's going to take time to build. Hey, Jeff, good morning. Linda, good morning. Andre, isn't it still too early? I feel like we put quarterbacks out there way too early. Yeah, but listen, here's the thing. I'm not saying – here's the thing. First of all, you had to put a quarterback on the field, right? So Carr got hurt. The next two guys, what you had. So you went with Haener, Rattler. I mean, someone's got to play. I'm not saying you're definitively judging Haener, Rattler after a small sample size, especially with a bunch of backups. What I'm saying is, I at this point, I don't think we can definitively say Rattler won't be good. But I think also we can't say he's your guy. Like we haven't learned that either. So it's all open for discussion right now. Would love to see Nuss as a Saint. God bless whoever takes the Saints job. Someone will. Eugene, bonjour from South Philly. Unbelievable also being a Saints fan in this town these days. Losing means ATL isn't in the playoffs. Dawson, I hope you had a great. That's why you're cheering for Tampa on Sunday. We did. Thank you. Oh no, Rusty Price died. Oh man. Somebody confirm that? Rusty Price was the longtime coach and athletic director over at Broadmoor, football coach in AD. I think they're still working there. I didn't hear that, man. If that's true, and again, I don't know that that's true, but I don't know why you would put that in there if it wasn't. But yeah, God bless, man. Playoff tickets for sale, sell them real cheap. I guess you mean Saints playoff tickets. Good morning, Matt. Saints let Ellis and Bond go. Didn't fit our defensive scheme. We need a scheme change. That's it. The sad thing is when you look around the league, you realize that the Saints at times, their talent evaluation draft process went well. Their ability Yep, comma, just call when you're ready. Their ability to maintain that talent on the roster, manage the roster, is what's been very poor. Rattler's better running back than quarterback. I disagree with that. Blake, I mean, he made the run early in the game was nice, but let's get real. Blake Betts says Chad Johnson made the show. Nope, no Ocho yet. Yeah, you know what's interesting, Gregory? What just that all the LSU guys were in the game. Adam Amin, and like every chance he got on the broadcast kept saying the LSU Tiger. I mean, you had Clyde, Tyron, Caleb on Chasson, Terrace Marshall, Foster Morrow. I feel like I'm leaving somebody else out. Yeah, Austin Deculus was. I don't know that he played. He might have been on special teams, but Deculus was dressed for the Saints yesterday as well, which is cool. Yeah. Hey, Fred, good morning. If the Saints' new coach staff loved Jalen Milroe, draft him with the 10th pick, how would you feel? I would be devastated. Because I think Jalen Milroe has about as much shot of being a great NFL quarterback as I do. He cannot throw the football. He is a fantastic athlete and a good college quarterback. His inaccuracy and his decision-making throwing the football are laughable. So any team that decides they're going to take Jalen Milroe in the first round, good luck. For the first time since Wayne Martin, the Saints don't have that interior guy. Brzez's a good pass rusher, decent run stopper. We need a fire plug like we used to have. The Wayne Martin drop, I love that. I mean, little Ronaldo Turnbull, Leroy Glover. Silo, any shot the Saints fall in love with an LSU guy and draft them? Sure. I mean, like the whole Saints they don't take LSU guys. Like, can we put that fallacy to bed? I mean, look at all the LSU guys on the team now. Like, and with respect to the draft, like the thing that I've always said is it has to make sense with your board, with where you're picking and what your need is. And for those things to come together, it's just not always like that. Like people, the most obvious one in recent years was when the Saints needed a linebacker and they took Cesar Ruiz instead of Patrick Queen. And people melted, oh, they never take an LSU guy. Right. And then a week later, they cut Larry Warford in a cap saving move. So clearly they knew they were cutting Larry Warford and we're going to need a starting interior offensive lineman, which is why they took Ruiz. Now, we can have the conversation about how Ruiz has played out, but like clearly that was a greater need at the time. So anyway, Thomas, you need to hydrate before tomorrow. I'll do plenty of it, Thomas. Hey, John, good morning. Drew's good. Thank you so much for asking. I think Drew, by the time next Monday comes around, Drew's gonna be ready to go back to school, man. His little world is kind of rocked when he's not in school. He doesn't really understand why. Ryan, Saints can reset the franchise with the draft pick when you use them on players like Foskey and Kendre Miller. Are you saying can't, or maybe you're joking? Yeah, like that's the problem, right? Like when you use second round picks on Isaiah Foskey and Kendre Miller, or a second round pick on Foskey, a third round pick on Miller, and you get nothing out of these players. Yes, it's very hard to do. All right, I got to go do this interview. Y'all have an awesome day. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel.